Hi, this is Laura for 5 out of 4 Patterns, and I have one job today, and that is to show you how I accomplish a full tummy adjustment. I'm a one-man band today, so be patient with me. You ready to get started? Alright, here we go. As you can see, this right here, that is a completed full tummy adjustment. I'm going to show you the 1, 2, 3, 4 lines to draw and to cut. And here we go. Now, one thing to remember is there's a lot of trial and error when it comes to adjustments like this. You have to know your own body, and sometimes that takes a few tries. So, let's get started. The first line you're going to draw is this long line across here. The important thing to find is the fullest part of your tummy and measure down, minus the waistband, how far you need to go. For me, it was approximately 3.5 inches. So I will grab my handy dandy crayon and I will come down approximately 3.5 inches. We'll draw a line all the way across, just like that. Now you'll notice you need to come in a little bit, so we're going to measure that, and that's around, give or take, 2.5 inches. So let's measure in from the side 2.5 inches and just draw a dot. Okay, that is the first line, number 1. Okay, for line number 2, we've got our dot approximately right there. Like I said, there's a lot of trial and error here, and you'll have to figure this out a little bit on your own. But for our purposes here, there's a dot on the pattern piece itself to help to know when to stop stitching. Okay, so that's for the pattern itself. For this, we're going to go right in between this line for the faux fly and the dot, and that's going to be our next dot for line number 2. So then we will take a diagonal, just like that. This is number 2. All right? Line number 3, line number 3 begins up in the corner. 1/4 inch or so from the corner itself. That's our next line. Okay, it will then be another diagonal that will come in at quite an angle. So you start from the dot and you come in just about here. I use this line from the pattern piece itself to help me measure. Okay, so that's number 3. We have one more line, and that's the number 4 line. It's very similar to the number 3 line. You're going to come in from the corner a bit, just like you did with the number 3 line. So about 1/4 to 1/2 inch from the corner. And notice we marked this already. We came in 2.5 inches and marked that. That is where that line is going to line, or the dots are going to line up there, and that's where your line's going to go. All right, so this is number 4. So there you have the lines themselves. Now, you're going to make sure you have your pattern piece taped so it doesn't fall apart as you're cutting. Otherwise, that's going to be a problem. All right. Now, we're going to start with line number 1, and we're going to stop at the dot. Notice we don't want to go all the way through. So, here we go. Line 1, cut. Now let's turn it over and let's cut line 2. Stopping at the dot. We don't want to go all the way through. Now, line 3. Stopping at the dot as well. And then line 4, again, stopping at the dot. Where the dots are, those are kind of like your joints. So as the fuller your belly is, the more each is going to pull out. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I hope you can see that. Okay, so now this is the part where knowing your body is a little bit important, but it's also the trial and error part. As you can see, I've measured what I want to do with each of these for my body. Every body is different, so you're going to have to find things that match, find the measurements that match your body the best. So, sorry, I need to get a piece of paper here. I slip a piece of paper under the lines that I just cut, just so that I can see them a little bit better. I hope this is helpful to you. All right, so we'll start with the first line, and it needs to come up, for my body, 1 inch, and then we'll tape it in place. Let's get our tape measure and bring it up 1 inch. Okay, that's about right. Let's tape her in place. All right, so there's our first line. You will not need to do with anything with this. It's part of your joint. So go ahead and tape that in place so you're good to go there. Okay, let's look at number 2. I pull that out about 1/4 inch, 1/4 to 1/2 inch. And so we'll go right about there. Give it a good tape it there. Now, lastly, number 3, about 3/4 inch. So I'm going to pull this down. I'm not going to move this. I'm going to pull this down. Okay, about 3/4 inch. So that's about right. And then I'm going to tape in place. All right, so there we have it. The adjustments have been made. Now it's just a matter of cutting it all out. So I'm just going to cut around the blue. Always tape in place just for some security. Make sure that it's not going to fall apart on you. Because the only thing that you are adjusting is the room for your tummy. You're not making your waistband longer. You're not adjusting really. You're not adjusting anything but the tummy itself. And I'm telling you, it works like a charm. Carefully cutting this out. Okay, if I turn this thing around, what you'll notice is when you look at the fly, it kind of turns. Hope you can see that curve. Notice in my final, there is no curve. So what you want to do is you just want to straighten it out, that's all. So let's tape it down pretty good. And then we're going to just straighten it out from here. Just bring it in. Straighten out. This is not perfect, but it'll do. And you may need to adjust your fly facing piece to accommodate the height, because it might be a little bit taller. But anyway, that's about it. What you will find is that your waistband will not change, but you will have room for your tummy, and your shorts or your pants will be so much better fitting and will be so much more comfortable. They'll be so much more comfortable. You'll love them. So if you have any questions, I mean, here at 5 out of 4, we're willing to answer any questions you have. But it's a pretty simple adjustment, and just be prepared for some trial and error, and then you'll get it just like I did. Have a good day.